Hey guys, CJ Pearson here. Today I just wanted to dive straight into this. Al Sharpton, you don't care about black people. You don't care about me. You don't care about Michael Brown. You don't care about Walter Scott. You didn't care about Trayvon Martin. You don't care about us. And number one, if you think you're doing anything good for us, you are a twisted little individual. You've done nothing but spur hatred in our community. You've done nothing to build us up, but everything to look like we are the victims. We are not the victims. Not everyone is a racist. It's just not true. I go out every single day, and there's not one time that I remember in my entire lifespan that I've ever been called a derogatory comment. And Al, I understand it's alive. You know, we shouldn't live in a colorblind society. It's pure ignorance. But at the same time, Al Sharpton, if you really cared about black people, you would empower black people to stand up for themselves, to fight for what they believe in, not cause violence, not spur hatred. If you cared about our race, our color, and our group of people, then you would help us. But you don't care. You're phony. You're only in this business to make money, to achieve fame. But we don't want you, Al. We don't want you, Jesse Jackson. We don't want any of you. Because you're not for us, and you're not right. Walter Scott's killing, it was a tragedy. But you are turning it into this big race-baiting scheme when it wasn't that. What it was a miscarriage of justice. It really was. There was no need for him to be shot, but he was. But to turn this into a twisted, race-baiting little scenario, which it wasn't at all, it was stupidity at its highest level, you're out of your mind. And I'm sick and tired of people like you being the voice of my community, of my race. Because you're not. We're more sensible than you, Al. We're not in this for the money, but we're in this to get a voice. And you're not that voice. You're a waste of human flesh. Thank you
all. He's gonna go far in this world.
Yeah, don't run that next one yet.
We got another one for you, but we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Well, we can go ahead and run it.
Yeah.
While they run it, go ahead and run it.
Go ahead.
I just pulled that one.
Go ahead and run it.
You'll unrun it?
There we go. Okay, wait.
Pay attention to that website, backforthefuture.org. That's the folks that were at the last Acadiana Patriots meeting. Young people, kind of the same vein as the first young fella you saw, okay?
Oh, yeah.
They are the reason that Common Core is being pushed so hard, because there are still children out there that have not swallowed the blue Kool-Aid of indifference and tyranny. It's the folks that you just saw. Now, with Common Core coming, those kind will be even fewer and further between when Common Core latches itself. With that note, let us pray. Prayer as we fight for the children of Louisiana. Passion of Christ strengthens us. Strengthen us under the pressure of temptation. Strengthen us when principle is at stake. Strengthen us to do your will, O Lord. Strengthen us in moments of suffering, in times of loneliness, and periods of depression. Strengthen us that we may never swerve from you, dear Lord, and Jesus, our Savior, nor weaken through human respect, through a desire to be popular, through hope of social distinction. Strengthen us to accept our cross and carry it generously to the end. On the battlefield of life, stand by us that we may never prove a traitor in the ranks. Stand by us that we may not be dazzled by the glitter and glow of the enemy camp. Amen.
Amen.
Make no mistake, folks, this is a spiritual battle for the free-thinking minds of our children. What will your part have been when all is said and done?
Yeah, when you see, I've been praying for years that a group or that young people would step up, and boy, this group has stepped up. I was with them again last night in New Orleans at a meeting in New Orleans, and they're on fire.
So,
And we got to spread the word about them throughout the state, because they got a plan in place.
and that what they're doing, they're sending elected officials a penny. And this is to make the point about the election and their constant striving to raise money to run for election when they're not paying attention to the business that they were hired by us to do. And this is an interesting way of trying to get attention.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, so you mean you're not backing Marco Rubio?
No, I'm not backing Marco Rubio.
So don't look back, let's look forward.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know. Yeah. You know, Rubio was scheduled to have a job with the last administration, Republican, but the Bilderbergs sidetracked him and didn't, they wanted him for something else, and they wouldn't let him run on the vice president banner in the last election. So Rubio is a big question mark, and not to mention the fact that he's not a constitutional citizen.
Can I
So-
tell the people what our latest title is in Anti-Common
Oh,
Core?
yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, the hayride, this guy's a total idiot. And I put a message in for him to call me, but
He won't,
I haven't gotten a phone call yet.
he won't call.
Anyways, he wrote an article, 7 Things Conservatives Can Expect from the Upcoming Legislative Session. And one of them was the Common Core fight. The most confident prediction I can make is that Common Core will still be the law in Louisiana. Nearly all the bills are being backed by, and I'm honored, I'm so honored that we're being noticed, are backed by the kooky anti-Common Core cult. Let's see, we were extremists last week. This week we're a cult.
Kooky cult,
Kooky cult. I mean,
that's
how,
spelled with a
Huh?
C,
this was written by Kevin Boyd.
on the Hayride, which
On
is
the
a
Hayride.
political website.
And the
that's
reason
dealing
he
with
writes
Louisiana.
this crap like this is he's not staying above water with a hayride. He's getting pounded. I will tell you this, that the parents responded to this. And I would think that his email server is overloaded right now, along with his voicemail in his phone.
Good.
And one of them found his cell phone number. Oh, and they said they started a tweet campaign, and a messaging.
Everybody needs to sign it. Kooky cultist.
Unbelievable.
Let's spell the kooky with a C.
It's not.
And
kooky.
accidentally go
It's a
cookie
K.
cultist.
Kooky is a K.
Cookie or kook?
Kooky.
Kooky, yeah, but that's why we need it.
K-O-O-K-Y.
It needs to go with common core.
I'm got a feeling that somebody's gonna show up with a T-shirt like that.
Yeah,
You know, that just like the thing with Sarah.
yeah,
Come arrest me.
yeah.
It's-
Okay, before we get into anything else though.
Yeah, we
can
need
take care
to.
of business. No show next week. The festival thingy madoodler Hummer is gonna be next week, and they're gonna close the office starting next Wednesday, so, which is just as well, because last year,
Yeah.
we had to fight the
Parking
people
spot.
parking in here because nobody bothered to reserve us any parking spaces. And you talk about a mess to park.
Yeah, wasn't that fun?
It always is, and it used to be in the other building, they would put a barrier across the alley between the building and the old federal courthouse. People would still get out and move the barrier and park in there anyway. And so we had all kind of trouble back then. But anyway, so we're no show next week regardless. Meeting, Freedom Forum meeting tomorrow night, 6:30 at Elise's. It's gonna be quite interesting. We'll cover much again of what I'm gonna talk about tonight in more detail. And other things. And then the gun show this weekend here at the Event Center on Johnson. 9 to 5 Saturday, and Sunday 10 to 4. They changed it last show meeting, and didn't bother to tell everybody that the time had changed to 4 o'clock. And
Used to be what? 3?
5, it was.
5?
10 to 5 on Sunday. Now it's 10 to 4 on Sunday, so don't come at 4 o'clock and expect that you're gonna get to see the whole show, but you'll still have to pay. Anyway,
I have one thing. April 29th, Erase Common Core Day at the Capitol.
oh yeah, that's a week from the 22nd,
Yeah, that's 2 weeks from
today.
today.
Yeah,
And these shirts, I have these shirts. They just help the cause. They're not a benefit. Nobody's making any money off of this. That starts at 10 a.m. Hello, caller.
Hey, Jim.
Hey,
I just wondered if y'all was having some trouble on that end, because I'm not having any picture. I got the live signal, but I have no picture and no sound on my end.
on the
I'm on the
computer,
right website.
on Ustream.
Ustream.
Yeah, Ustream. It's showing live, but I got no picture or no volume.
Okay, is it on, Tom? Can you tell, or do we need to call Jacob? Yeah,
All right, sir.
we'll see about doing something about that.
We'll see
All
what
right,
we
if
can
not,
do.
I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Adios.
Ustream.
Not working?
Not according to the caller. What were we talking? Oh, April 29th.
Yeah.
April 29th, it's real important for us to have a show. Also that day, there is education committee meetings, which would be perfect. Would be nice to have all those red shirts wandering around the Capitol. We will have a thing on the steps of the Capitol at 10:15. And then after that, there's gonna be planned events or just touring the Capitol, talking to people. But it's an important event. We have all these people, you have people like Stand for Children, no, Stand on Children.
Mhm.
And
They're gonna be there.
Oh, they were there. I
they're-
already had my.
They're the pro-Common Core people.
They pay people to come and, parents, teachers, whatever. But we need to show strength, because they'll bring a busload of people in to testify
Yeah.
at the different functions. So it's already started, the diversions, the things to get us off track, get these parents looking at stuff they don't need to be looking at, and we're staying on it. they're pulling out all the stops. They even have a thing where they got something, I didn't read the article, but to do with unicorns. Cause a unicorn is not real, and neither is Common Core. That's what they're telling the people.
Well, they're correct. Common Core is not that is a made up, it's totally fictional.
No, what they're telling you is that the people that are telling you about Common Core are not telling you the truth,
Oh.
is what they're,
See, again, that's Common Core logic, though.
yeah, well, yeah, a myth, another myth.
Yeah.
Our stuff is a myth. Crying kids, upset kids, getting sick, failing kids. I got there early Monday. I interviewed 8 parents at the Capitol that work at the Capitol. And 100% said Common Core is junk. 100%. They all had children in school. But,
Yeah, it's fiction what we've been saying about Common Core.
we're not telling the truth.
Right, it's fiction. All these children are fictionally getting sick,
Yeah.
fictionally failing. Didn't you have somebody else tell you that their straight A student again was failing
Yeah.
this year?
And I also
that's just
had,
one
one of
many.
them that I interviewed said that their class took a ELA, which is an English type test, and 83% of the class failed. Huh? And the other lady had a 10-year-old. She's in 4th grade, somewhere around there. But the previous year, she was an honor roll student. This year, she's failing.
Hmm.
But,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Common Core is working.
it's working.
As far as Ustream, it's hard to find the search bar, so ustream.tv/search, and then you can search Freedom Forum. It is live, it's working.
Yeah, he said he had it up there and said it was live, but there was nothing on the screen, so.
Well, you gotta watch a commercial, so it might be like his ad blocker. It takes like 30 seconds, you gotta pick a commercial, and then you can watch it.
Keep watching, John.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, this is all the strategy. This is really my 3rd year with the Common Core battle at the Capitol. So there isn't nothing they can bring that we're not prepared for. The thing is we have to get the young ones to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Don't let it bother you. Get out there and fight.
Yeah.
And we need as many people. I'm gonna try and put something out on our website and through our email and have the people get it out to where I have somebody in charge of meeting at like the Target parking lot on Louisiana Avenue that morning
Yeah. We'll
and
definitely-
caravan over there.
You'll
So,
definitely need the carpool, folks, because parking will be at a premium,
Yeah, I have to be over there early
so.
for a
Okay.
legislative breakfast.
When did y'all decided on the Target parking lot though, so
Yeah,
that much we can announce now.
yeah, I think
The Target
what we're gonna
at
look at is like
Louisiana Avenue.
7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock, leave about 8 o'clock to get over there around 9 or so you have some leadway and can find
Yeah.
parking. The problem with the parking over there is the parking garage for the Capitol is closed due to some faulty construction. And I would rather have it closed than have it open and the building falls down.
Yeah,
So I think all that's there. And also the thing that wasn't so funny for one of the representatives this week,
yeah, saw that.
they have these new safety things that pop up.
Well,
and
it's
you can't get into the parking lot.
Those are anti-terrorism barriers.
Yeah, anti-terrorism barriers. Well, they terrorized one of the reps
Yeah, they popped up while his car was over it.
over it.
It malfunctioned while his car was
I
on
heard
top
that he
of
had
it.
a broken hand.
He went in, the article said he had a busted, of course, the airbag deployed and messed him up, dislocated his shoulder or something.
Mhm.
He went in and participated in the opening ceremonies, though.
But
Good for him.
good guy. But I mean, so these are things that are important, and I'll put out some stuff, and
There'll be the Target at Louisiana Avenue. and
Louisiana
I-10.
Avenue. And I'm trying to work on the logistics and get somebody from our organization to take responsibility and caravan over there, hook up with Lake Charles and whatever, when they're coming through and just fly whatever. Shirts, I have plenty of shirts.
Yeah. Okay, and while we're on, I just want to let Jim finish with the House bills that he's going to talk about, and then we'll come back
Well,
to some other.
the
interesting
first
stuff.
one, we've been working on this for 3 years, finally. The Louisiana State Legislature, the Balance of Powers Act is now a bill. The purpose of the Balance of Powers is, its purpose is to restore the balance of powers between the federal and state governments, thus stopping the federal overreach into state governmental affairs that has been all too prevalent in recent years. The Balance of Powers bill is S as in Sam, B as in boy, 205. And all you have to do is go to the legislative website and you can search it.
Actually, it's even easier than that. You can do a Google on SB 205 Louisiana, and it'll come up with
It'll come
links
up.
to direct links to the bill.
There's, this has been something that's been in the works for
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years. And, it's got some meat to it, it's got some grip. We just have to get them to do it.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. That's that one. There's 2 bills here. House Bill 662, that needs to be killed. All I had to do was look at the names on this bill. Representatives Carter, who's the chairman of the House Education Committee, Broadwater, Carmody, Lapatino, how do you say that?
Pinto.
Lapinto, Price, Reynolds, Smith, and Conrad Appel. You have to understand, I have a long history with Comrade Appel,
Yeah.
a long history. Now,
We're gonna-
House
we're
Bill
gonna
six.
Put him in for Commissar of the Year.
House Bill 672 is the bill we want to support, and there's a long list of names on that.
Good folks there.
Good folks that are fighting for our kids. So let me go down this comparison. 662, standards required for measurement. Standards should never be required for measurement. On the right-hand side, the 672 standards are statements of what students should know. Shall be knowledge-based, academic, clearly worded, grade level specific, and developmentally appropriate, which they're not today.
Which, all of those areas, though, are specific to the student.
Student, not the
Not-
teacher.
Well, again, it's collectivism, though.
Yeah.
They want all of the students on the same playing field, the same
Yeah, one thing
level.
works for everybody.
It doesn't work
Okay,
that
and
way.
662 locks in testing and data tags, better known as Common Core.
Yeah.
And people, if you don't understand, Common Core is all about data,
Yeah. Data mining.
data mining.
That will follow your student, your child, for the rest of their lives, because it will, once this is locked down, the Chamber of Commerce will ensure that businesses use that as employment guides for the future, regardless of
Yeah,
what
yeah.
your child has become in adult life. Their data that was acquired and analyzed by computer, okay, will follow.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
Again, this is done in totalitarian states to ensure that everybody fits into the correct square peg.
And Hillary already said that your kids are not your kids,
Mm-mm.
basically.
Well, Obama, same thing. He
Yeah.
has implied he's going to take control of your children.
662 says, shall be Louisiana standards. Okay? That's just rebranding of Common Core.
Yeah, they're not Louisiana standards, that's a crock.
The Department of Education shall conduct a review every 7 years. Bessie promulgates rules with APA. Today, I will make an announcement. I sent my name in to get on the committee to review the standards. What do you think my odds are of getting selected?
I'm gonna go see if I can get some odds from a Vegas gambler.
I was gonna put my name in there as Jose Jimenez, but
You might have a shot at it.
that might get me
Yeah.
there. Well, again, I'm gonna go down the ones on House 662. Purpose to successfully transition to post-secondary education and the workplace. This is what this is all about. Bessie shall select a committee based on recommendations from the LDOE. Now, you're gonna understand why I told you this. No open selection process for citizen participation. They had a thing on their website, so I put my name in, email, phone number. Of course, John White has all that already, but qualifications determined by the LDOE. LDOE is the Louisiana Department of Education. Annual reports of committee to the LDOE. They just had a meeting about all of this, and one of the people that's one of the leaders in the Stop Common Core Coalition, due to the, what do they call that act? The Information Act?
Freedom of
Freedom of
Information Act.
Information Act,
Mhm.
sent in and requested the transcript from that meeting, and they said that no such transcript exists.
But it's,
Transparency.
it's transparent.
Yeah, subject to open meetings law does not require public hearings.
Mm.
These are,
Wait a minute, it's subject to the open meetings law, but doesn't require public meetings?
public hearings.
Public hearings. Open meetings is a public meeting, by definition,
Yeah. Let me
but
tell-
they're not subject to public meetings.
Let me tell you, here, I have a little thing that came up today when a good friend of mine down in Terrebonne was at their school board meeting last night and got escorted out. And what happened was, he got interrupted 3 times during his 5 minutes, which he wasn't finished. Yeah, I know that feeling. And so they told him to stop, and he kept talking, and the president of the school board ordered the police officer to escort him out the building. Yeah, and so here's what happened. I know the guy, he's really a good guy. And so while they were taking him up and out, he was giving the rest of his talk. And he stopped the cop at the double doors and finished off his thing and tore up the school board. And guess what happened?
He didn't get arrested.
He didn't get arrested, and all the newspapers interviewed him. Thumbs up, baby. Way to go, David.
Yeah.
Unelected bureaucrats in charge. That's part of this bill, 662. With a few additions such as requirement of APA, this bill does not change the current process for developing and adopting standards, but rather merely codifies a process that does not provide an open and transparent process or genuine opportunities for citizen participation. We tweeted, we called, we emailed Jindal to say something about this in his speech, and he didn't. Now we're gonna go to House Bill 672, which we need to support. They're gonna chunk this one. This one here, they're fast tracking 662.
Yeah.
They're gonna fast track
Yeah.
it. But remember, it has to go to the Senate. And if it makes it out of the House, it's a done deal in the Senate. I know. Believe me,
You
I
gotta
know.
get Jindal to veto it.
Well, that's where it'll stop. Okay, 672, which is the bill we want. and it says, it has the list of names, and then it says opponents of Common Core.
Mhm.
Anyway, shall be fully developed and revised in Louisiana in a clearly defined process that is open, transparent, and accountable to the public. This is the standards. Bessie shall develop, review, and adopt standards with a review every 3 years instead of 7.
Mhm.
Promulgate rules with the APA. Purpose to develop self-directed long life learners. Bessie selects Louisiana citizens. Get this? Louisiana citizens to assist in review by application similar to the Texas process. Qualifications set in law of at least 10 years of experience in classroom instruction. Let's see. That would take the state.
White couldn't be in it.
No, what people don't understand and know, this is what drives me crazy. First of all, he was not qualified for the job. They changed all the qualifications to make him the state superintendent.
Mhm.
Ding, ding, red flag.
Yeah.
You know, they broke all those rules. They never brought it to the legislation. Curriculum development or a professor in post-secondary institution. Timeline set in law for transition out of Common Core, temporary GLEs of 2010-2011, LEAP and iLEAP assessments, adoption of new Louisiana standards. Accommodations for IEP. IEP has to do with I hate to say handicap, but
Well, special needs children.
special
put it like
needs
that.
children, that's it. And
Yeah, I can be
504,
politically correct if I want to be.
well, and subject to, here we go. Subject to open meetings law with public hearings required at each local school board for review of proposed standards.
Mhm.
Says required. Adoption requires a legislative approval, which did not happen, irregardless of what they tell you, did not happen with Common Core.
No, it didn't. It was never sent to the
They
legislature.
never followed through on all that. Elected officials accountable to the public. This bill seeks to provide an open and transparent process which would include multiple opportunities for authentic citizen participation. One of the things that I heard that was discussed was the fact that they wanted the I'm looking for a bill. They wanted on the website, if they came up with a new deal, they wanted them to have a place on the website to where you could you could here it is. You can, the parent, you have the opportunity to voice your opinion about what they're gonna do.
On the website.
And the reasoning beside the
Mhm.
Department of Education website, the reasoning of this is as if it gets passed against the wishes of the parents or whomever, there's a record, there is a public record that you got 100, 200 emails stating the fact that we don't agree with this.
Yeah, see,
And then that gives you kickback
yeah,
to go back after it.
good.
And that's transparency. Now, I talk all the time. I'm glad you're letting me do this. I might leave early. I've had a long
You
2
got-
days.
You got 2 more minutes.
I got 2 more minutes? Wow. I talk about this all the time, the conflict of interest stuff. Well, a good friend of mine, Ivy, Representative Ivy, has written House Bill number 626. You need to go read this. Because, let's see, 7 out of the 11 that are presently on the Bessie board would be ineligible and the state superintendent would be
Yeah,
ineligible.
yeah. Does this make it retroactive?
No, this is
That's too
for
bad.
June the 30th or whatever.
No, but it doesn't go tell anybody that's currently in office.
Well,
If there's a conflict of
there's an
interest,
election coming up.
Yeah, but some of those Bessie members are appointed. They can't get rid of White,
Yeah.
for example, and
No, we can get rid of White. We just have to get the vote swing. We have 4 now. We need to keep them in office. And we need to add, 11. We need 3
Mhm.
to get to 7. No, we don't need
11
3. We
is
need
6.
6.
Six would
We
be-
need 2.
If it's a supermajority, you'd need more, but if
6
you
to
only
5.
need 6.
Anyways,
Mhm.
the present law provides for ethical standards for elected officials, public employees, and certain other persons, including prohibited conflicts of interest involving payments from non-public service sources, prohibited participation in transaction, prohibited gifts, abuse of office, nepotism, financial disclosure, and post-public service restrictions. Provides definitions and exceptions. Now, I heard a comment, which struck me funny, that said, this code of governmental ethics does not apply to the Bessie Board. What? Yeah, I heard
Are
that.
they a governmental entity?
Yeah,
Why wouldn't it apply to them?
I don't know. The proposed law retains present law, and proposed law further provides for additional ethical standards applicable to members and former members
Mm.
of the State Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, the State Superintendent of Education, and the former State Superintendent of Education, and immediate family members and specified legal entities. And there's a reason I'm laughing. He really nailed it.
Yeah,
Because, you see, Chaz Romer is the president of the Bessie Board, okay? But his sister is in charge of the charter schools for the whole state. No
so that
conflict.
takes care of her.
Yeah, and him.
The charter schools are private corporation.
Listen to this now. This is in the digest. After all these years, I finally learned, read the digest and
Yeah,
you
or
understand the bill.
abstract. Yeah, that's what an abstract is.
Yeah, well,
Same thing.
same.
They
Prohibits
call
a,
it that.
Number 1, prohibits a member of Bessie or a member of his immediate family, the state superintendent, or a member of his immediate family or legal entity in which such person has a substantial economic interest, including an ownership interest of less than 5% in publicly traded corporation. That takes a pill out. I mean, this should apply to from bidding on, entering into, or being in any way interested in any contract, subcontract, or other transaction which is under the supervision or jurisdiction of the Bessie or the Department of Education. And trust me, people, that paragraph alone, and there's much more, but the point I'm making is we gotta support this bill.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we got to.
We gotta support this bill. Does it have a chance?
Probably not,
But the whole thing
unless they
is,
don't realize that's in there. If they don't read it,
oh no,
then they
they'll
may have
read
a
it.
chance.
Believe me, their legal advisors have gone over this thing with a fine tooth. I mean, I'm not gonna go through it, it's a couple pages long, but just go and look up HB 626. I was excited when I heard about this bill, because there's just I mean, Holly Bophy makes $100,000 a year.
and a member of Bessie.
And a member of Bessie, and she consults
She's educational.
CCSSI. Now, she has another full-time job with Jeb Bush,
Oh, that's right, yeah.
under, guess who? John White. See, and some people say, well, that John White really pushes park for the park test. And I said, well, I know why. And they said, why is that, Jim? And I said, well, let's see. He's an executive director for the park consortium.
Mhm.
I mean,
There's no conflict of interest there.
and the other thing he was talking about, there's one of the guys on there has $17 million in contracts with the state on the Bessie
And he
board.
sits on the Bessie board too.
Yeah. And I mean, I told you, there's two things, control
Yep.
and money. And I'll tell you what, I told that to two representatives already this year, and they said, nailed it. They said, that is exactly right. And I want to put a shout out to my buddy Henskin. I know he's not watching, but I have to tell you this. He told us a story behind this. We looked down on the floor, and you couldn't miss him. He had a white jacket on, he had a white shirt on, a white tie, white pants, white socks, and white shoes. And so he came up by us, sitting in the balcony, and I asked him, what's the deal with the white? And he said, last year, when I came, I had a regular colored suit on. They told me you wear white on the first day. And he said, the guy that told him that is in a black suit today, and I showed up in a white suit. But back to this, we gotta be nailing this thing for House Bill 662, and then the one for the conflict of interest, that Ivy's bill. If there's a bill that I'll sit for 10 hours on, is this House Bill 626. I mean, you just read the deal, the last few pages. There's so much more. What I do with that sheet? Yeah, here it is. I'll show you. We said there's over 1,000 bills. This is 10 pages. 10 pages of educational bills.
It's only education.
Only
bills.
education,
But see,
only.
I'm looking up another one I want to tell you all about, but I can't find out the status of it.
What's that?
It's the bill on cash.
Oh, they didn't hear that yet.
No. This thing is
Do
acting.
you know
I
what
can't-
committee it's under?
No, I'm trying to, this thing will not cooperate. And I just found out,
Do you have the House bill number?
no, not yet. This thing's not doing what it's supposed to do.
But there's other breakdowns on that bill.
I'd heard this weekend that it was in committee only. But now we got articles that are saying that it's been passed. We don't know where it's been passed. whether
No,
it's just
nothing's been passed yet.
been passed out of
Nothing.
just the
No,
committee.
no.
Whether it's still in the committee, don't know the real status. That's why I wanna
Nothing
look
has
up.
come out of committee yet at the
Okay.
Capitol at all.
Are you finished with those?
The only thing I wanted to say is if you want a copy of this, I won't read it, but a very dear friend of mine, people are always saying the standards, the higher standards,
Yeah.
that these standards are higher, really. They're unproven. There is no data.
Well, they can't be higher standards because they're two, there's the bill. It's House Bill 195.
Oh,
Okay, there it is.
get out of my.
Finally.
House Bill 195.
Yeah.
House Bill 195.
I can't believe some of these people that are supporting this thing.
Well, and I don't understand that, but you know, just like Sarah sent me that email as to why this one lady changed her mind about the opting in and opting out,
Yeah.
and I just wrote it in 5 easy letters. Money,
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Yep.
If you changed from
Cedric.
2012 to 2015 and your status changed,
Yeah.
I guarantee you this hand now feeds this one.
Right. Right. Exactly.
You
But
know,
what this bill does is it makes it illegal for second-hand transactions to be
so if I
in
bought a
cash.
shotgun from you, I couldn't pay you cash?
No.
You know what that's about, right?
Well, yeah, it's about control.
It's about control, because if you have to write a check, there's a record of that at the bank.
Yeah, well, that's what they say in here. They want to have a record of who bought the thing. Oh, the excuse is because of all the stolen stuff. Well, excuse me, wait a minute. Who bought the thing doesn't tell you who stole it,
Yeah, but I have a question.
and it exempts
Even
pawnbrokers.
the police department, who confiscates guns and stuff, has stuff come up missing.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, one of the other questions I asked Comrade Appel was, what happened to all the computers in New Orleans? The 7 million 2 years ago and the 14 million last year.
That was from the schools that shut down.
The
That they
RSD
shut-
school.
they
No,
shut
it
down.
wasn't. It's schools that are open.
Oh, but their computers disappeared.
Yeah, well, they're surplus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really.
Mhm. Well, anyway.
$21 million in school equipment disappeared. What I wanted to say, there's an article, we won't read it, Sarah, this was Sarah again, she's so good. She said on here, looking forward to this legislative session, I bet she is, she's a darling. What she said, Mr. White, why are you calling parents extremists? But you see, we're utilizing that as a plus for us.
Mm-hmm, sure,
You know, I'm the kooky cult guy,
yeah.
anti-Common Core kooky cult guy.
Mhm.
I gotta get a hat. Is there someplace you can get a
Yeah.
hat made up like
Yeah,
that?
you can.
I gotta do that. Get one, I wanna get one of those, you know that little black hat I wore?
Mhm.
Have that in white on black, and when I'm sitting in a Bessie meeting, hold it up like this.
Yeah.
I'm one of those kooky anti-Common Core cult guys.
Go
What?
back, quick.
But this one's,
We're
I'm
almost
done
out of
with
time
that.
For this.
And then I
Okay.
have a sheet here that answers, is a comeback to somebody that says the standards are higher with Common Core. Not so. But I mean, there's so much
Okay.
more to all
There's
those
just so
bills.
much.
There's different bills. Appel has a bill in here, recreates the Department of Education.
Yeah.
Comrade Appel. Okay. That was actually, they met on that in committee today. But there's other ones. Henskins provides relative to surveys administered to public school students. And if you read the bill, what it is they can't give a survey without the parents knowing first. Prohibits his bill, HB 22, we have to support that. Prohibits penalizing public school students, teachers, schools, or school systems for students not participating in certain spring 2015 state assessments. Those are some of the highlights.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
could
there's-
spend the rest of the night going through that crap.
Yep, until midnight. Well, okay,
Easily.
we're gonna get into some other stuff.
That's my
First of
night.
all, Al Sharpton is calling for a national police force, doing away with the local police and going to national because
you
of
put
what
your ad?
happened. But, well, I'm gonna apply for chief of police. Because of what happened with that shooting incident, where's that latest one where the cop has already been charged, the cop's been charged with murder, okay? Yet they're still, it's as if they want the powers that be to turn this guy over to their mob so they can lynch him. This is what I'm getting out of this.
Oh, yeah.
They want, it's a lynch mob mentality,
Well, it's-
and they're
it's
not,
the race
they're
crap.
not, they're not happy with the fact that he's been charged. He was charged from the beginning. And, excuse me, but guys like Sharpton, like the gentleman, the young gentleman, who was obviously from Texas from his accent, and also, if you notice, the sunburst, the rising sun thing
Yeah.
behind him on the wall with the arrow on it, he was an Order of the Arrow member of the Webelow Cub Scouts, and probably still a Boy Scout, I'll be willing to bet you. He's well on his way to being an Eagle Scout. That
No doubt.
young fella there, when he gets out of school, come see me. I'll hire you for whatever I'm doing. But again, Common Core would of course destroy his mind. He would be failing miserably. All right. There's several big things, and then there's some little stuff I want to get to, but we're going to have time for one of the big things and then more in the next hour.
Good Lord.
Yeah, that's okay, that's okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
First, Cheyenne Mountain. This first hit last week. What we heard was Cheyenne Mountain, which is the big nuke-proof command post for the Air Force and everybody else. And if you watch the, what was that science fiction series where they use that for the command post? No, it's where NORAD was stationed. I thought it was still open. And we started hearing rumblings that they were moving equipment back in to Cheyenne Mountain. And I thought they were just beefing it up. We all thought, and then all of a sudden, come to find out, it had been shut down. It had been mothballed, and they are reactivating Cheyenne Mountain. This is the big nuclear war proof command post for the country. And for them to be going back in there, it kind of follows what other stuff has happened. They're deploying a squadron of the new F-22 stealth fighters to Alaska, and they're beefing up the radar stations that are in Alaska facing Siberia. Additionally, there's word that they're talking to the Canadians about beefing up the rest of the DEW line in the Arctic Circle that's in Canada. So it looks like the War Department here is getting on a Cold War footing again. Russian planes have been flying over, not here lately, but they have been. They had been. The last examples have been over European countries. One thing they did too, they were flying into, they were still in international airspace, but all of a sudden there's a flight of aircraft that's not using their transponders, so they don't know who they are. So the NATO forces had to scramble jets to find out who it was coming in from the ocean. Same thing happened here. They pulled that and had to reroute some commercial airliners because of the proximity to these aircraft, and it turned out they were Russians. One of the recent flights was kind of unique. We didn't hear of any of this going on during the Cold War of this size. They had several fighters escorting bombers and a transport plane and a tanker in one of these formations. See, the kind of stuff they used to do during the Cold War was fly their missions out of Cuba, especially up the Atlantic coast and into the Gulf of Mexico, testing our defenses. And in one case, backfire bombers flew out of Cuba, they think, because they didn't pick them up until they were coming in under the radar, until they were spotted by deck watch on a Navy ship in Baltimore Harbor. They flew from Cuba all along the coast, didn't get spotted till Baltimore. And when the word went out, of course, radio traffic alerted the alert fighters, and they turned out to sea and disappeared. But that's the kind of stuff they pulled during the Cold War, and it's already at that level or higher now with what they're doing. So is Putin trying to pull the tail of the American dragon? Yeah, looks like it. And there were two Russian warships off the coast of the U.S. last week, and they didn't bother to say where they were. Wouldn't surprise me if one of them wasn't in the Gulf of Mexico, because they have been in the Gulf in recent months. And we got some stuff, new information on BLM is pulling some new stuff out west. And there's an interesting situation has happened with Walmart, which some of you have heard about today. It hit today. This one is extremely interesting. We'll come back to that in the next hour. Oh yeah, the Cheyenne Mountain's EMP hardened. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. The problem now is how much of this strategic hardware that the U.S. has that's supposed to be EMP hardened is not adequately protected. Yeah, probably a lot, yeah. So Folks, I want to tell you what we got, the rest of this stuff. It's quite interesting when we come back. What do we got? How many minutes? One, okay. Reality, at least once every human being should have to run for his life to teach him that milk does not come from the supermarket, that safety does not come from policemen, and that news is not something that happens to other people.
Ignore. It says
Oh, no.
Huh?
No, that's one we can pick up. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, buddy, I got a question for you. Just getting in on the show, sorry. But do you think there's anything with this Jade Helm doing it July 5th, right after July 4th? And I'm sorry if y'all talked about this.
No, we hadn't talked about it yet. It's not supposed to officially kick off till June 15th. I hadn't heard about July 4th.
Well, I heard it was July 5th. I'm sorry, maybe.
No, it's June 15th.
There's stuff that's still going, it's already started in some places, and we got something in the next hour we'll talk about with Walmart that's quite interesting.
Okay. Okay, we'll be watching. Thank you, guys.